Will it work on plants?
You aren't here about the plans, are you? I know the look of a doomed man.
There it is, the difference between Singed and every other great mind in Arcane. He's definitely a level above his peers, and if you pay attention, it's super easy to see why.
Loneliness is often the byproduct of a gifted mind.
Singed is actually talking about himself here, but using Viktor as a proxy to say it.
We can be loners together.
The big factor that makes Singed different from the other brilliant minds in Arcane is his approach to death. Heimerdinger is concerned with his quality of life and safety, because Yordles get to live for generations longer than humans. He has no urgency to move things forward because his death is not a driving force for him. In direct contrast to this, Jayce is tormented by the prospect of death, especially the death of people around him and death that he can prevent. Ironically, he doesn't feel like his life is worth much outside of his work, which is why a lot of Jayce's decisions are based on saving others. And as for Viktor, well, you see, that's where this scene finally comes in.
I know the look of a doomed man. I must warn you, if you take this path, they will despise you. Love and legacy are the sacrifices we make for progress.
Viktor is running away from his own inevitable death. Singed, on the other hand, is more concerned with proactively solving the problem of death itself.
I thought you understood. The mutation must survive.
Listen to the conviction that he says that with, as opposed to how wishy-washy this sounds.
I want Hextech to be a tool for us to build a new world, and now it's finally possible.
One of them hopes, while the other states what they will do, what must be done. There is no room to fail. The more you listen to what he says, the more you realize that Singed is profound. He's not someone who fears death or runs from it, but rather someone who accepts it as a reality of life.
Sometimes death is a mercy.
Will he live?
Long enough. Are you prepared to lose her?
She won't die, Doctor. She can't.
When you watch his scenes in isolation, the following begins to unearth itself. His statements about being a loner, his obsession with life and death, his experiments, everything he does boils down to one small detail.
I too once had a daughter.
He lost his daughter. The 200 IQ decision was to write Singed not as a mad scientist, but as an intellectual stoic who's willing to do anything to understand the natural order of things.
Today, we colloquially use the word stoic to mean someone who remains calm under pressure and avoids emotional extremes.
What have you done?
I saved her life.
But while this captures important aspects of Stoicism, the original philosophy was more than just an attitude. The Stoics believed that everything around us operates according to a web of cause and effect, resulting in a rational structure of the universe, which they called logos. And while we may not always have control over the events affecting us, we can have control over how we approach things.
I've tried every combination of runes, but it's always the same. The subjects wither and rot.
Perhaps the error resides not with your calculations, but with your subjects. Nature has made us intolerant to change, but fortunately, we have the capacity to change our nature.
He acts as a life keeper in Arcane, saving some but will almost definitely be the demise of others in the future. And if you don't love him and his function in the series as much as I do, at least I can leave you with this one really cool thing that wouldn't have happened without him. Vander's back.